Minister, it was reported at the weekend the cost of the Irish taxpayer of taking unlimited numbers of Ukrainian refugees alone will be over 5.5 billion to support the influx of Ukrainians just to get us into the middle of 2024. However, to make matters worse, the government will pay 1.5 million of taxpayers' money to the EU over its failure to accommodate asylum seekers, with 350 international protection applicants without application. This is because the government failed to set realistic limits on the number of migrants this country can realistically accommodate. It means that the government failed to renegotiate a realistic plan and instead signed up to the EU voluntary solidarity mechanism, which means that no limits exist on the numbers of migrants that come here. In other words, under the government, Ireland has a wide open door when it comes to migration. It is absolutely disgraceful that the government would agree to pay 1.5 million to the EU over its failure to accommodate asylum seekers, with 350 international protection applicants without accommodation. The EU Justice Ministers voted recently to introduce mandatory relocation of migrants, with countries unwilling to host them being required to pay a fee of 20,000 for each migrant. Hungary and Poland opposed the agreement. Why would the Irish Minister for Justice vote in favour of this proposal, when Ireland simply does not have a housing capacity to meet the requirements, mean that Irish taxpayers will have to pay out 20,000 for every migrant that we cannot take in? This is ludicrous and is an attack on every Irish person. We understand this issue was also discussed at the European Council Summit in Brussels on Thursday and Friday, 29th and the 30th of June, with only Poland and Hungary arguing that any EU system on migration relocation should be voluntary, and say that they will refuse to pay the 20,000 fines. Of course, it should be voluntary, but why would an Irish government expose taxpayers to tens of millions of euros of fines? And this is a post-European meeting, and I'm a bit disappointed that we're not talking about fisheries also in here, because it's taken such a hammering down through the years, the Irish fishing sector has, in comparison to our European counterparts, who have done pretty well in negotiations. And I would call on you, Minister, that, you know, when we're talking about European meetings in the future, that fisheries comes on top of the agenda. It's not down the bottom of the agenda under the mat or under the carpet. When you're in there, you need to be talking. You need to come back with a package that fishermen can survive instead of, and not a decommissioning package.